Look, if you're serious about starting a successful clothing brand, what you do right from the beginning will either set you up to blow up your brand fast or kill your brand's chances at gaining any real momentum. Now, most startup clothing brands make the same mistake when starting their brand, which is that they miss very, very important nuances and details, and this is why so many new clothing brands fail. There's a reason why my dumb, stupid clothing brand idea, K-Bud, made $70,000 a month, and why so many sick ideas for brands never really get off the ground and get any sales. And it's because I understood really important details of the business and nuances of clothing brand psychology. So in this video that you took a chance on, I know your time is valuable. I'm gonna take you through the exact steps I walk new brands through to make sure that their clothing brand actually gets sales. I'm gonna cover literally everything for you, from the basics of naming your brand and registering your business to logistics and deep marketing psychology. So don't skip over any of these because I guarantee there's gonna be things in here that you've just never heard before. All right, first up, let's talk about naming your brand. And this is coming from someone who named his brand horribly from the beginning because it has a pronunciation barrier in it. My Canadian lifestyle brand, K-Bud, when you read it, you can't really pronounce it right, but it means K-Bud. Like K-Bud is slang here in Canada for like K-Bud, but I didn't know that from the beginning when I started, so I'm sharing this over to you. If your brand has a pronunciation barrier in it, and when people read it, they can't pronounce it correctly, you're likely gonna run into some issues when it comes to people really understanding your brand and being able to pronounce it in every instance. It will hurt your word of mouth a little bit. A bonus tip when it comes to naming your brand is that your name sort of suggests what the brand concept is. A good example of this would be North Face, where when you hear that name, you kind of already have this understanding that it's an outdoor brand. Now, this is just a bonus, and you don't have to follow this rule. There's plenty of examples like Nike and Adidas where their name means literally nothing, but I think it really helps for lifestyle brands, like a brand like Rip Curl, where when you hear that, you kind of already know that it's for surfing or something to do with the beach and waves. Now, when you're starting your brand, there's two layers to making sure that your brand name isn't taken already. The first is just a quick surface layer check that will just take like 60 seconds. Just go through all the social media and search your brand name on there. Make sure it hasn't been done before, because if you find it on there, there's no point in wasting your time going to the next phase. You know it's already taken and you should just move on. If you go on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram and your name is free, then the second step to actually committing to your brand name is to do a trademark search. And I'm putting links in the description below for everybody in Canada and the United States so that you can search your brand name and make sure it's not already taken. Because if it's already taken, you're likely gonna run into legal issues later unless you reach out to them and try to acquire the rights to it. So just avoid any name that's taken there, but if you're free there, you're likely good to go. Also, one last point here I feel I need to mention is my clothing brand's name has K-Bud Apparel in it, and if I go back in time, I wouldn't have added apparel to it. I see a lot of new clothing brands start up that follow this channel, and they add apparel to their name because they've seen that I've done it, and they've been following this channel, and they think it's something smart to do, and I actually think that this is a bad move. I think most brand names look cleaner when it's just like Rip Curl or North Face, and it's not North Face Apparel. I just did this at the beginning because there was a brand that I looked up to called Sleek Apparel, and I thought it was kind of cool to do for my own brand. But I think for new brands starting up, look for a clean name that's just your clean brand name. All right, the next thing that I do is I go on all of the social medias, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, and I eat up all of your social media handles. So whatever your brand name is, just make an account and secure all of those so that you know you have them to begin with. Even if you're not gonna use them for a while, you're still working on the designs, you're still working on your website, and you're not launching yet, just eat them all up and gain the rights to them right away so that you don't lose them in a month from now when you go to launch and you realize it's not there anymore. Then right after you do this, go and buy the domain for your clothing brand and try to make sure it's a .com domain name, because .com just looks so much more professional than if you're using like .shop or some like weird domain handle. Go on GoDaddy, type in your brand name and see if it's available. If it's not available, don't freak out. There's many ways around this to still have a professional sounding name for your brand without having to spend tens of thousands of dollars actually buying up your brand name. A good example of this is dopesnow.com. The company's name is actually Dope, but the Dope handle's likely already taken, so they went with dopesnow.com because it's a snowboarding brand and they make gear for snowboarders. And if you look at my second clothing brand, Therapywear, the actual brand name is Therapywear, but we ended up going with mytherapywear.com because the handle Therapywear was taken and we just didn't want to go through with purchasing that. Now, the next step that freaks a lot of people out that's super easy and simple, and I'm just gonna ease your mind on this, is registering your business. You're likely gonna wanna register your brand as a sole proprietorship unless you're a partnership, but both are equally easy. And in the United States and in Canada, you register your business through your own state or province. So if you're in the United States, just go to Google and search register DBA plus your state, whatever state you're in, and it's always the first .gov link that shows up on Google. And in Canada, you register a sole proprietorship through your province's website. All you need to search on Google is register sole proprietorship plus your province, and it'll be the first link that pops up. This barely costs any money to do in both Canada and the United States, and it'll only probably take you like 10 minutes to do it. At this point, I recommend that you make a website. And this is another part that freaks people out. I think it sounds way more intimidating than it really is for people that haven't made websites before. But on Shopify, this is where I recommend that you do it. Just use one of their built-in themes. These themes are already structured and set up to be optimized for the user's experience. So you don't need to worry about where you're putting things, how everything's structured and how everything's flowing. It's already done for you. And all you have to do is just input all of your media, upload your logo, upload your pictures, add the copy that you're writing that you can get done through ChatGPT as well now. And it's so much easier than you think it is. I recommend that you do it yourself rather than going on Fiverr or Upwork and getting somebody else to do it, because there's likely going to be a lot of changes that you need to make to your website as you're growing. Maybe you want to change a product description or upload a new product. And if you have to go to Fiverr every single time to get somebody to do that for you, it's going to suck, I'm telling you. And it's really not that hard to learn yourself. It might only just take you a day or two to really figure it out and understand how Shopify flows. The next thing that you'll need is mockups for your website. And I'm assuming that you already sort of have designs made for your brand, or you're getting them made, or somebody's making the designs for your brand. You're gonna need pictures of your products for your website, and it's never been easier to make these mockups for your website. One thing that I've done recently is I go on Adobe Firefly. You can save hoodie images from Google, then just upload it as a reference image to Adobe Firefly, upload your design as another reference image, and then ask Adobe Firefly to put the two together. Add this design to this hoodie. I did this using Adobe Firefly recently, where I had a gray hoodie that was the exact mock-up I needed, but I needed to turn it this red color and still leave all of those details in it. And I just uploaded it to Adobe Firefly and asked it to change the color to the exact red hex code that I pasted in, and it flipped it over and it made it look absolutely perfect, and it's literally on my website right now. You can also use ChatGPT to do this. Just upload your design file and then say, add this to a hoodie and make it a good mock-up. Make the mock-up less structured, more structured, whatever you want it. AI is ridiculous for this right now. Then you need to decide on a price for your products. And this actually goes way deeper than you'd think. Most brand owners just sort of price their products whatever, and they don't really put much thought into it. But what I recommend that you do is you research other brands in your space so that you know how to position your brand properly and people don't think it's way too high or way too cheap, and you're positioning your brand right within your niche. Another thing is that ideally you're pricing your products at a 70% gross profit margin. Most brands, when they start up, it's really hard to do this just because your manufacturing's higher at the beginning. You don't have something known as economies of scale, where you're able to invest in 1,000 units or 2,000 units and get your price per unit down. And so you're likely not gonna have a 70% gross profit margin from the beginning, but this gives you a lot of room for marketing, Facebook ads, all of the other little expenses that add up in your business. And so that's just something to work towards as you grow your business. Another major bonus tip when it comes to pricing is something known as anchoring. Anchoring is where whatever first price that they see is going to give them a benchmark and a reference point for the next price that they see. So an example of this would be other products on your website that are priced slightly higher, so that when they see other products that are priced slightly lower, it makes those products seem more affordable or like a better deal. Another example of this is when you're running a sale and the normal price of your hoodie is $90, but on sale it's $60. And they see that price of $60 and think, wow, what a great deal, when in reality, those prices are completely arbitrary. And you could have just priced it $60 without a sale, and they'd be thinking, oh, that's too expensive. Prices on your website are generally arbitrary anyways. If you look at a brand like Gucci or these high designer brands, the actual quality of the products themselves aren't worth these like $700 prices for a t-shirt, but they're able to value it that high because of the brand. And so you need to understand that anchoring can be maneuvered and played with And it's just something to keep in mind when it comes to pricing your products. Now, those were the first 7 things you must do when you start up a brand, and those were kind of boring. But I got 7 more fucking sick things I'm gonna teach you coming up in just a sec. But first, if you're starting up a brand, you likely need designs, and I wanna tell you about the sponsor of this channel over at design.com. Just pop open a new tab, go to design.com/Rob88. Type in whatever sick idea you have for a design, hit enter. Thousands of designs are gonna pop up. You don't have to like them all, but maybe you like one. You click on it, you can edit it, refine it as long as you want for free until it's perfect. You can play around with this tool as long as you want for free at design.com/Rob88. And if you like what you make, you'll get up to 88% off at checkout. Okay, we're back. The next thing that you must do for your brand is photo shoots with your friends. Probably the single most undervalued tactic for growing your brand is social proof. And what so many clothing brand owners don't realize when they first get started is you can use your own network and your own friends and family to create an amazing perception for your brand right out of the beginning, so that your brand doesn't look like you don't have any customers, so that your brand doesn't look like you're literally just starting up and nobody's ever heard of you. Get a bunch of your friends together and go do a fun lifestyle photo shoot with them. They're likely gonna have a blast and be super down to do it because they get to get their photos taken. It's gonna be posted on social media. It could be kind of fun. And I've done this literally hundreds of times for my brand, and it's led to hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales because we were creating just a cool vibe, shooting fun content, cool videos, taking pictures. It's just a blast. What you're really tapping into at the same time is social proof. People will see photos of groups of people on your social media, on your website, wearing your clothing. It looks like your brand is more in demand, and it doesn't make it look like you just started up, you're the only one doing it, and nobody's supporting you at all. Okay, the next thing that you need to do right away is set up a Meta ads account and a TikTok ads account. It's super easy. There's literally a guided setup for both of these where it's literally just you click through and you just copy paste everything that they tell you to do. It takes like literally 10 minutes for each of these to set it up. And this will connect your pixel to your Shopify website, and it will connect your Meta ads account to your Instagram and your TikTok ads account to your TikTok. Now, this is important because from the day that you set this up, it's going to start accumulating data. All of the data that it starts accumulating of people on your Instagram, going to your website, all of these people are retargetable with ads. So as you're getting engagement, you can retarget them. But the catch is that it's not retroactive. So when you set up this pixel and when you connect all of this, it starts accumulating data from that point forward. So the earlier that you set this up, the better it's gonna pay off for you, and you're gonna be able to reap from this in like 6 months from now. Rolling into the next thing you must do for your clothing brand is decide on logistics. Are you gonna use print on demand? Are you gonna do it all entirely yourself at home? Or are you gonna use some sort of hybrid model for this? Now, I have another video on my channel that goes way deeper into all of this. I'll put a link to that video in the description in case you wanna go deeper, but real quick, I'll just give you the meat and potatoes of each of these so that you can make a decision. Print on demand is where you don't do anything. You connect your Shopify to a third party like Printful or Printify, and anytime an order comes in on your website, they make the shirt, ship it to your customers, and handle all of that for you. This is the lowest risk option if you don't have a lot of money and you just kind of want to dip your toes into this space and see how it feels. But the con is that you lose a lot of control. You can't really quality check everything before it goes out. You're limited to the options that they have available for you, and you just don't have as much control as if you did it yourself or went with the hybrid option. The second option is to do it yourself. This is where you buy a heat press machine and you order the shirts and you print them all yourself and you make them all at home. And I think that this is best for true lovers of the game and the hustle, because you're gonna have to be doing everything yourself, printing, making the clothing, sending it all out to your customers, and it's just a lot more work than if you went with print on demand or the hybrid model I'm about to share with you. The hybrid model is where you take certain components of the logistical process and you outsource them. So maybe you're not making the shirts yourself at home with a heat press, and you work with a local screen printing facility. They'll get all the t-shirts, make them all for you, and then you can go pick them up or they'll ship them to you, and then you can deal with sending them out to your customers. Or you can work with a screen printing facility and a third-party logistics company that handles all of the orders being sent out to your customers as well. And what this allows you to do is you're still holding inventory, so it's not quite the print on demand model, and it allows you to make those custom products with the quality that you want while still taking all of those other things off your hand. And so the hybrid model is really best if you want to sort of save some time and you've got a little bit of money to invest. So you can make a decision for your own brand based on which of those models you feel resonates best with where you're at. The next thing that you must do when you're starting a clothing brand is set up email marketing. I recommend you use a software called Klaviyo. This is how you're gonna collect emails on your website that you can market to later with promotions, different offers that you have for them. And you can do this through setting up a simple pop-up on your website. You can set up a pop-up where people will get 10% off for just signing up to your newsletter. When they sign up to your newsletter, they get an automatic email with a discount code, and this also helps you get some more sales through your website. And now you've got their email that you can market to in the future. And then at different levels of your clothing brand journey, you're gonna wanna go deeper and deeper with different triggers that you can set up, like abandoned carts, so that when people are shopping through your website and they add to your cart, if they don't check out, they put their email in and they'll automatically get an email that says, hey, you left this in your cart, here's an extra 10% off or 20% off, and it helps move them down the funnel. Okay, so the last 3 things that you must do are really juicy because it has to do with strategy and the mental side of the game. And the first one of these is you need to differentiate. Please understand that if you're starting up a clothing brand, there are thousands of other clothing brands starting up every single day, thousands of brands that exist out there. And that's because the barrier to entry in this space is extremely low. It doesn't cost a ton of money. And so new brands start up all the time thinking they're gonna be the next $1 million brand overnight, and they're just popping up all the time. And so you need to understand that you're getting into a very competitive marketplace where basically everything's been tried before and everything's been done before. So you really need to be intentional and proactive when it comes to differentiating your brand, whether that's in your brand concept itself, doing something different that nobody's seen before, like what I did with K-Bud, where we were going after small town Canada and the niche humor there, and there just wasn't a brand for that space. So it was sort of like this blue ocean market. Or you can differentiate in your marketing strategy, the way that you're posting content, the way that your content looks, or the way that your products are. There needs to be some major differentiation between whatever else is in the market. Otherwise, you're just gonna fit in and you're not gonna get any reach at all. The next big thing you must do is have patience. This isn't going to happen overnight. This is where 99% of clothing brands fall off within like 3 months, 6 months, because they just give up. They think that the way that this works is they make their first post on social media and everything just snowballs forward into success. And when they don't see that right away, they give up because it didn't fit in with their worldview of how it should work. But I'm telling you, patience is how it should work. Patience is being aligned with reality and how things will really work for you. And if you are more patient, you can wait out other brands that fall off faster, you're gonna have a much better chance at becoming successful. And the last thing that you must do is be consistent. One thing that will give you an insane competitive advantage over other brands is your consistency. Everybody falls off, okay? I'm telling you, nobody has this ability to just do something consistently for a long amount of time. Okay, this is why everybody who goes to the gym consistently and eats healthy regularly looks amazing and has an amazing body. On YouTube here, I haven't missed a single week in 9 years uploading a video, and it's why this YouTube channel's turned into a full-blown business. For my clothing brand, showing up every single day, every single week is what gets those compounding results. And it's not those one-off viral videos that are gonna change your life. It's the consistency of sticking to it every single day that's gonna get you even better results than you could really ever imagine. Now, please, before you go anywhere, share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. And if you have a brand already, drop your Instagram handle in the comments. I'd like to check out the brands that are watching. And if you want to work closer with me and a community of other brand owners, check out the Apparel Success Mastermind. There's a link in the description. We're a chill group of clothing brand owners in there. We do a mastermind call every month, strategizing, talking to each other about what's going on in our brands. Super chill, super welcoming. And you can check that out. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.